I don't know, and you didn't catch it, but he said what you become in the process, right? What you become in the process of this journey. You know, we've all taken on. I took on this journey 30 years ago, and little did I know that it was going to, encompass everything that it has. My traveling over 6 million miles, going to country after country after country, doing, thousands of meetings all over the place. And, it's been a journey. And, I love this quote that Marshall Silver put up: I can make anyone a millionaire if they simply just give themselves up to the process. And what is the process? We're going to talk about some of that process here this evening, because I really want you to understand that it's not something that happens overnight. Yes, it happens quickly for those of us. It doesn't happen even as quickly for me as I'd like it to have happen. I've been with Valentis now a year. I had no intentions whatsoever of ever doing this again. But there's this darn coffee that got my attention, right? I mean, I drank a couple of cups of coffee. I started running around doing everything like a madman, and discovered that it was the coffee, right? And then I started losing weight like crazy, and I discovered it was the coffee. And, then I really started looking at, what, the next step should be. And that was to obviously get started. But the process, many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. Again, Les Brown, and how many of us are really like that? I mean, if we really admit it, how many of us are not doing as well as we could be doing if it weren't for the things that we were fearful of? I mean, I had fears. When I joined Valentis, I had fears. You see, I had always excelled. When I joined a company, I always had certain prima donna. I don't want to call myself a prima donna, but I guess I just did. But I had certain perks that were, given to me as a result of my experience in the industry. I felt as if I was due those things, right? I mean, I was like a starting quarterback, right? I didn't want to sit on the bench. And so, when I went to Valentis, Dave Jordan looked at me and he said, well, if you've got to have all of those things, because I put them out to him just like I put them out to, any other CEO. And he said, well, if you've got to have all those things, Chuck, I guess we're not going to be able to work together. And I kind of looked at him dumbfounded, like, are you kidding me? Do you actually know who you're talking to? And, I went home not very happy. And, but then as I, thought about things, and it was my fear, right? It was my fear and my ego, right? That kind of got in the way. And then I, tucked my ego aside and I said, Chuck, I wonder if you can actually do this. I wonder if you can actually start from scratch and build a team like you've done before. And so it was a challenge. It was one of those things that I had to accept and move forward in the process. So if you're fearful of anything, you and I should probably have a conversation, right? Because I want to help you get past, being fearful of anything. Now, I can't help you with snakes and spiders, but I can help you with all kinds of other things, because I don't like snakes and spiders either. I especially don't like spiders. So you don't want the next 10 years to be like the last, then now is the time to do something different. You need to take that and blow it up, put it on your wall, and look at it every day. If you don't want the next 10 years to be like the last 10 years, now's the time to do something different. And, that's the truth. I mean, what better time could you ever have in your entire life than right now? I mean, you don't know about tomorrow, you don't know about next week, you don't know about next year, but you do know about today. Right? So today is the day to start. If you wish that you would have started a year ago, you didn't. So get over it. right? And, just get started now. I wish that I would have started 4 years ago with Rick and with John, because I look at their incomes and I go, well, let's see, they're not any smarter than I am. So why is it that they earn, way more money than I do? Because they got started earlier. They got a bigger network in place, so, God bless them. My goal is to, my old goals would have been to surpass them. My new goals are just to be where they're at, and and I know it's going to take time. I'm perfectly okay with that. And, everybody needs to, like Les says, be patient, and, all things will happen. So if you don't want the next 10 years, and I don't know, your last 10 years might have been great. Most people's last 10 years haven't been also that great. So, no excuses. If you haven't lived and achieved your dreams, it's your fault. Nobody else to blame, right? The person that you look at in the mirror is totally responsible for all of the things you have or you don't have. So you can make all the excuses in the world, but that's not going to get you to where you want to go. And, maybe you don't have a big enough dream. I don't know. I grew up on the south side of Chicago in a one-bedroom apartment, basement apartment with four kids, with four people actually living there. And we took turns sleeping. I knew that when I grew up, I didn't want to, do what my father did, which was work in a steel mill and be a Chicago cop. Didn't want to do that. Didn't want to go down that road. So I wanted to do something different. So, my dreams and my aspirations, started expanding, and, and that's what you need to do with yourself. You need to just have bigger dreams. Go car shopping. Are you living in your dream house right now? If not, why not? Are you driving your dream car? If not, why not? Are you going, and have you gone on those dream vacations and trips and all of those things? If not, why not? Most of the time it's because you don't make enough money and you don't have enough free time. Two of those things, right? Enough free time and enough money. With network marketing, if it's done correctly and you stay in the process, all of those things can come true. I'm living proof of that. Certainly Rick is living proof of that. John is living proof of that. And there's thousands and tens of thousands of other people in the industry that have and are living the dream because they've just stayed engaged. Now, if you got into a network marketing company and it failed, or another one failed and then another one failed, hey, that's okay. Brush yourself off, get up, wipe it out and get back to work, because you know what? The potential. And, I've had this love-hate relationship with network marketing for a long time. And, every time I find myself hating the industry because of something some company had done, I put all my faith and trust into a company and then they let me down. They went out of business or one thing or another. And, I had egg on my face because I was the one that was touting how great this company was. And, that's one of the things that I had to discover for myself. I mean, I knew Dave Jordan, but I didn't know Dave Jordan. Dave and I worked cross-line in another company when he was a distributor, and he was always a great guy. He was always, happy-go-lucky guy, and I thought, this is a nice guy, and that company went out of business, and then Dave started, Valentis, and I had no desire, none at that particular time of joining him, but I went and did my due diligence. I did what I had to do in order to satisfy me, right? To bring my belief up. Now a lot of people just don't have a belief in network marketing. They don't believe in the industry as a whole. and then they have a hard time believing in the company, and then maybe they have a hard time believing in the products. But I'll tell you what, for those of us who have tried the Slim Roast Optimum, and yeah, we got a lot of other great products, but I'm staying focused on one thing, right? Just like this, right? Because it's a product that works almost all the time for everybody, and gets results. It gets results. So that's the kind of product that you want to get behind. This was my, this is my whole thing. I mean, I've always had, and I hope you do, a burning desire to succeed. I always wanted to be, at the top of everything. I'll work harder, I'll work longer, I'll do whatever it takes in order to get to where I need to be, whether that's the recognition or financially or whatever the case may be. But I like the accolades. I like getting the, that part of the business, because you know what? When you own your own business, like I did for 16 years, there's none of that. Nobody pats you on the back, right? Most of the time, you're getting your butt chewed out by some client or something. So, this is a whole different scope of things. And, you really have to have that burning desire to withstand the negativity that sometimes surrounds you, as you've made this decision to move forward. I had that 30 years ago. I was ridiculed. I was laughed at. I was all kinds of things by lots of friends, by family, by even my wife. And, it was hard to endure that. But, you start to build up that rhino skin, right? You start to build up that, hey, it really doesn't matter. I don't care about what anybody thinks. I'm moving forward. I'm moving ahead. I'm going. And you just stay the course. I love this one. You're one decision away from your success. Success and failure are separated by one decision. And I can't tell you how true that is, right? I mean, one decision. I was sitting in an airplane hangar with a guy by the name of Fred Smith a long time ago. Fred was hiding a jet that he owed money on and was telling me and 5 other people about this dream that he had of building this package distribution company. And, I walked out of there shaking my head with some other guys that were shaking their head, and a couple of guys stayed. Well, that guy, Fred Smith, started a little company called Federal Express, and that was the beginning of Federal Express. That was in Nashville, Tennessee. He then moved his operation over to Memphis. But, one decision away, right? I mean, my life would have changed, more than likely. The guys that stayed became very, very wealthy. So, one decision. I could have said no 30 years ago when my buddy brought me over to a company called NSA over in Memphis, and had me look at the industry of network marketing. I could have said no, stayed home, and not done any of this, and missed everything that I had ever done. So, one decision away from your success. So, I applaud. And really, I'm kind of in awe of the people that find a company and find one company and stay there. I mean, that's the epitome of how you make money. You find a company and it stays in business, and you just stay there 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, 12 years, 15 years and you're there. Right? This is what you do. And, I met a guy from Shackley one time, and he said, I've been there for 15 years. I make $40,000 a month. I've been doing that forever. And he said, nah, I'm not interested in doing anything else. I'm just going to stay right there. And, I understand, Of course, I was trying to recruit him into something that only lasted for 8 years. I'm glad I spent my 8 years there. I wish that it would have lasted for 30, but I only got to spend 8 years there. And, you know, finding a company like Valentis is really, it's like finding that needle in the haystack, right? I mean, it's like finding that that golden buzzer, right? So, I mean, it's just amazing because these opportunities and a company like Valentis just doesn't come around. You know, to have a guy like Dave Jordan with his personality, his drive, his determination, his burning desire, and it's not for him, it's for us, right? I mean, he wants to see everybody successful. And just a unique combination of circumstances that have, you know, created everything. I can't even begin to talk about how I look at this slide, right? Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. We all have those comfort zones, right? We all have those things that we, you know, if we get outside of them, we feel uncomfortable. You start to sweat, you start to perspire, you start to do all kinds of other things. And we were talking about it earlier on, you know, the fear of talking in front of groups, whatever the fears are, right? It goes back to those fears again. But, you know, you got to get over that. You got to get out of your comfort zone and into, you know, the zone, right? You got to zone into what it is you want to do and leave everything else behind. So, you know, again, if you're uncomfortable doing something, then I would say do it. Get over it, right? Get over it, get past it. And, you know, once you get past it, you'll find that, hey, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And you'll do incredible, you know, moving forward. All of you that don't know me, that's me. I'm not the guy on the left with the ears. That's my friend Rocky. But that's me when I was 40 pounds heavier, right? That was last fall. No, actually before that. But I've been 31 years in the network marketing industry. I've earned over $15 million, built teams all over the globe. Twice in my career, I built teams of over 400,000 people. And to see those teams dissipate and disappear and the income disappear is and was devastating, right? And that's, you know, some of those things were very difficult to get over. I joined Valentis May of 2018. Why? Because of that darn coffee. You know, had it not been for the fact that I was the fattest I had ever been in my life, you know, and I say, thank you, Lord, for making me fat. Thank you, Lord, for putting Dave Jordan into my life. And thank you for getting those guys to call me. I guess it was the law of attraction, right? You know, a fat person calling out, I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight, you know. And so they called me and, you know, lo and behold, I lost weight. Triple diamond right now, trying my best to get to blue diamond. It's more than a notion to get to the next rank. But I find myself maxing out the dual team every week, and which is not a bad thing at 400 cycles, but that's all I can earn, right? So I'm locked in. I can't make any more dual team bonus until I get to triple diamond, until I get to blue diamond, because then my cap goes up from 400 cycles to 800 cycles. You know, that moves me from 8,000 max income in dual team to 16,000. So I double up, right? I like doubling up. So, you know, my question is, are you ready? You know, I mean, are you really ready? If you're really ready, then all you've got to do is plug into everything that we have. I'm available all the time. I mean, if you'll just text me, and, you know, now, you know, I want to say this about that. You know, I love to do three-way calls. I love to do all of those things, but you've got to be able to do your side of the deal. And your side of the deal is to, take that person through the initial stages, right, of getting started. Hey, Bob, are you a coffee drinker? Hey, Bob, are you a fat guy that needs to lose weight? Hey, Bob, are you interested in making some extra money? Oh, great, great. Hey, why are you asking me those questions? Because I work with a company called Valentis, and we just put out the most amazing weight loss coffee that you've ever seen or will ever try, and you need to try some. So if you'll do the preliminary stuff and then get that person on the phone with me so that I can tell them my story and ask some questions, I can help you through the process and bringing that person aboard. We'll find out if that person's a 2, a 5, an 8, or a 10. Very, very quickly. So plug into the Zooms that are going on, plug into all the things that are happening, get educated, right? Just get educated. And if you do, your life will change. I guarantee it. Your life will change. If you'll just stay here long enough, you got to decide what you want. If you want things to change, nothing or no one will keep you from reaching your goal. The rest of it is simple, right? And there's my buddy, Beetlejuice. It's showtime, and that's what I say every morning. It's showtime, right? So no matter what happened yesterday, the day before, whatever, once you decide, and it's your decision, right? You want things to change, that nothing or no one will keep you from reaching your goal. The rest of it is simple. This is the hard part, making that decision to move forward, getting the A, B's, and C's done. I call the mechanics of the business, right? That's the simple part. I mean, that is really the simple part. This is the difficult part, getting your mind right so that you can move forward and you get up with, the same enthusiasm, every day, day in and day out. You stay consistent, you stay plugged in, you stay motivated. And, by participating in all of these things, this is how you stay motivated. This is the little, juice, if you will, that will keep you moving along. And, again, I'm here, right? I'm here you want to talk? Let's talk, right? You got a problem? Let's talk about it, whatever. So I'll turn my collar around, right? And we'll talk about it. So, let's see here. I thought there's something else that I wanted to see, but why is that not working? I hate when things don't work the way they should work, right? I just hate it, but that's just how it is. Maybe it was Beetlejuice, but hey guys, what I'll say in closing is that this is just such a simple business if you'll just pay attention and if you'll just do what needs to be done. And again, it's not that difficult. It's just a matter of doing it. So let's see if I can find that, because I do want to talk about that. In order to be successful, your focus has got to be so intense that people think you're crazy. So, here's the deal. When somebody says, hey man, I think you're crazy, you've made it, right? You've reached your goal, so stay focused, stay intense, and stay, on course. So, don't worry about what people say and what people think. Just move forward. Let me tell you, Marshall Silver is one of those unique individuals that I knew, but I really didn't know him. He was introduced to me through another friend, and I went to his Turning Point. At first, he ordered some coffee. It worked. We started talking all the time, and went to the first Turning Point, and it was 3 days of incredible, information. And I thought, what in the world can this guy possibly talk about for 3 days? And I'm going to encourage you to go to Turning Point. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But, the difference between you and the ultra successful is not talent or smarts. It's in your lack of discipline in following a certain path. So it's just discipline, right? It's doing all the things that you need to get done, staying focused on money-making activities. And if you look at this guy over here in the green shirt, digging like crazy, he's going after it. And that's how you need to be. You just need to continue going after it. Because like Mitch does in his analogy of flipping cards, you just never know when you're going to turn up an ace, right? You just never know. It could be, we know there's 4 aces in that deck, but we don't know if all 4 aces are the last 4 cards of those 52 cards. Then all of a sudden you get 2 decks, 3 decks, 4 decks in there, and you just got to keep flipping cards and going through the process and taking people through the process and continuing, because really all you're looking for are 4. You're looking for 4 people, 4 diamonds, and the rest of it's history, right? So just keep moving toward finding. If you've got 1, you got 3 more to go. If you've got none, you got 4 more to go. Keep flipping cards, keep going and keep moving. We're going to do a lot more conversations and have a lot more intense, information about getting to what I think is the most critical juncture, and that is being legacy qualified. Forget all the rest of the stuff. If you can get to legacy qualified, then your income's going to start going up, and you're going to find it's a lot easier than once you put 3 business builder, packages in somebody's hands. It's a lot easier to do the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and so on and so on and so on. Never give up. It's anytime that you want to give up, don't call me. Just don't give up. Valentis has the ability to change your life, and it's already changed lives. And over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, I'm telling you that there are going to be thousands of lives that are going to be changed as a result of this opportunity. Turning Point, I brought it up before. I love that. Know where you're going and invite everyone to come along, right? Well, I went to that Turning Point. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. And the next one is happening July the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort. And if you've purchased a Business Builder Pack, you have tickets. You have 2 tickets. Bring somebody, bring a spouse, bring a friend, bring a recruit, bring part of your group, whatever, but bring somebody. And right now, the deals at the Westgate Hotel are outrageous. I made a reservation for this event. Get there Monday night, 4 nights, right? 4 nights, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And you won't believe it. I paid $75, not $75 a night, $75 for all 4 nights, right? So it's pretty crazy. So anyway, hey guys, you can go to sylver.com/TP, and it's SYLVER, sylver.com/TP, and go and look at Turning Point. You know, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. So, hey, with that, what I'm going to do is stop the share. I'm going to shut off the recording, and